Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam and this is a Snowcone Japanese Snowbell. This is the beautiful white fragrant flowering Snowcone Japanese Snowbell. Over a long period of time, Snowcone could actually end up reaching as high as 25 feet and as much as 20 feet in width. Japanese Styrax, or Japanese Snowbells as we call them, are very cold hardy. They can actually go up into zone 5 and then down to zone 8, and some people even say zone 9. Japanese Styrax, or Japanese Snowbell as we call them, are not very fast growing. They probably will only put on about 6 inches of growth, maybe as much as a foot in a single season. This is definitely a sun-loving tree. I think you want to give this at least 6 hours, maybe more. The area that I'm planting it in will get blasted until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because of its slow growth and its almost perfect pyramidal shape, this is a great choice if you have a small yard and want an ornamental tree that's kind of always doing something. This tree gives you a lot of bang for the buck and would work well in a small front yard or a small backyard as long as it's getting enough sunlight. So pretty much anywhere that you can find a space where a small ornamental tree would fit, this tree would be a great choice. And it's something that not everybody's going to have. There's lots of other flowering ornamental trees that you just kind of see everywhere. You don't see a lot of Japanese Styrax, and it's so showy when it's in bloom. There are a lot of great features on Japanese Styrax. They bloom in the late spring with these beautiful hanging white fragrant flowers, just absolutely beautiful. The tree gets covered in them. One thing that's very specific to Snowcone is it has beautiful dark green foliage on it, and it has a really nice pyramidal habit. Usually gets yellow foliage in the fall. I've had a very weird year in my area. A lot of trees just kept green leaves right up until we had a hard freeze, and it's just freezing them off. We even had crepe myrtles do that this year. We didn't get any fall color on them. It just froze the leaves off. It stayed warm so long. So not seeing that this year, but typically it would have had yellow fall foliage on it. It has a really nice gray bark on it as well. The flowers become little gray seed pods in the late summer that last into the fall. So this tree almost always has something going on it, and it's just absolutely one of my favorites. I have videos in the description of this video for planting woody trees and shrubs. Not concerned about the Styrax at all. I just want to make sure I'm mounding it up a little bit when I plant it. I want to make sure that I'm not going to end up mulching up on anything that's not mulched when I put it in. It's not very aggressive rooting. My experience with these, when I pull them out of the container, the roots typically aren't bound up in there. They're not circling very heavily. I will, if I see any that are wrapping around, get in there and pull them apart or take the shovel and just cut them. Whatever I need to do to make sure that they're going to be going outward. After I plant this Snowcone Japanese Snowbell, I'm going to water it in really well. I'm going to saturate the area around it, and then I'm going to let it become slightly dry before I water it again. I actually want to stress it just a little bit so that I can get this thing rooting out. I'm planting it in December. It's going to have all of December, January, February, March, and April to get really rooted in well, and then I won't have to do a lot of watering on it next summer. Not a very demanding tree. My area gets normal rainfall, so I'm not going to have to do a lot of ongoing watering on this thing once it's established. If it gets abnormally dry, I'll drag a water hose to it, drown the space around it, and again, let it dry out between rains or waterings. Again, I'm putting this in December. It's not time to fertilize. I'll wait till about the end of February in my area, maybe a little bit later if you were in zone 5 or 6, and I'll put a small amount of slow release fertilizer on it. Anything that'll last 3 to 4 months would be fine. One of the main advantages of Snowcone over just basic Japanese Styrax or Japanese Snowbell is it doesn't get what we call stem dieback. There are a lot of trees that get a lot of the stems on the tree will drop off in the fall and be a little bit trashy. This one is very resistant to that. It requires very little pruning. If there's any limbs that are very low when you plant it, you might want to go ahead and take those off. There's no reason in leaving those on, but you really won't have to do a lot of pruning on this tree. If you get a limb that takes off ahead of others or way out to the side, or one that's obviously going to be in your face in the future, just go ahead and take it off pretty much any time. It's probably best if you're going to do any major pruning to do it when it's dormant in the winter, but if it's just one limb here or there, whenever you need to do it. Don't really see many pest problems on these Styrax. I rarely even see any chewed leaves on them from anything, but deer will graze on these. This is not a deer resistant tree. So what are you waiting for? I'm confident that you can grow Snowcone Japanese Snowbell. Thank you very much for watching my video, and if it was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also comment below with any questions you have about ornamental trees.